Welcome back, Coin. Today we're exploring rare and historic Washington quarter-dollar coins of the United States of America. These coins may look ordinary, but some valuable examples are worth big money. So watch till the end and discover the history, errors, and value behind these amazing quarter coins. The Washington quarter, released in 1965, is one of the most historic and important coins in modern American coinage. This famous quarter dollar was produced during a time when the United States was facing a serious silver coin shortage. Before 1965, Washington quarters were made with 90% silver, but rising silver prices caused people to hoard coins, creating a shortage across the country. To solve this problem, the United States Mint changed the composition of the quarter in 1965 from silver to a copper-nickel-clad design. Because of this major transition, the 1965 Washington quarter became the first regular-issue quarter in American history struck without silver content for circulation. Millions of Americans noticed the difference immediately because the new coins looked slightly different and felt lighter compared to the older silver quarters. Even though the coin's metal composition changed, the design honoring George Washington remained the same, preserving the traditional appearance of the beloved quarter dollar. Today, collectors consider the 1965 quarter an important symbol of the transformation of United States coinage during the 20th century. On the obverse side of the coin appears the left-facing portrait of George Washington, the first president of the United States. The portrait was originally designed by sculptor John Flanagan and had been used on Washington quarters since 1932 to commemorate the 200th anniversary of Washington's birth. Above Washington's portrait is the word Liberty, while the national motto, "In God We Trust," appears near the lower left side. The date 1965 is displayed prominently below the portrait. The design is elegant, simple, and highly recognizable throughout the world. Washington's calm and dignified expression reflects strength, leadership, and patriotism, qualities that Americans associated with the nation's founding father. The detailed hair design, sharp lettering, and balanced composition make the obverse one of the most enduring coin designs in United States history. The reverse side features a majestic eagle with wings spread wide, symbolizing freedom, power, and national pride. The eagle stands proudly on a bundle of arrows, representing military readiness and strength, while olive branches beneath the arrows symbolize peace. Above the eagle are the words United States America, while the Latin phrase E pluribus unum, meaning out of many, one, appears between the top lettering and the eagle. At the bottom is a denomination quarter dollar. The reverse design captures the patriotic spirit of the United States during the mid-20th century. Many collectors admire the reverse because of its detailed feathers, bold eagle appearance, and classic American symbolism. The design remained in use for decades before the State Quarter series eventually replaced it in 1999. The year 1965 was extremely important for the United States Mint because it marked the beginning of clad coinage. Due to rising silver prices and growing demand for coins, Congress passed the Coinage Act of 1965, which removed silver from quarters and dimes intended for circulation. Half dollars were reduced from 90% silver to 40% silver. The new clad quarters contained an inner core of pure copper covered by outer layers of copper and nickel. This gave the coins durability while reducing production costs. Many Americans at the time were unhappy with the removal of silver because silver coins had become a cherished part of daily life. Some people even saved older silver coins, believing they would become valuable in the future. Over time, these predictions proved correct, as pre-1965 silver quarters are now highly sought after by collectors and investors. Another interesting feature of the 1965 quarter is the absence of mint marks. Normally, United States coins display mint marks identifying where they were struck, such as D for Denver or S for San Francisco. However, from 1965 through 1967, mint marks were temporarily removed from circulating coins in an effort to discourage coin collecting and hoarding during the coin shortage. As a result, all regular 1965 quarters appear without mint marks regardless of where they were minted. This unusual policy makes the 1965 quarter unique in American numismatic history. Collectors often study these coins carefully to identify subtle differences in strike quality, luster, and die variety since mint marks are absent. The 1965 quarter was produced in enormous numbers because the United States needed a massive supply of circulating coinage. More than 1.8 billion quarters were struck during the year, making it one of the highest mintage Washington quarters ever produced. Despite the huge mintage, collectors still search for high-grade examples because many coins entered heavy circulation and became worn over time. Finding a sharply struck 1965 quarter with brilliant surfaces, strong details, and few marks can still be challenging. Coins certified in mint state condition by grading companies often command higher prices, especially those with exceptional eye appeal or rare characteristics. Collectors also look for valuable errors and varieties among 1965 quarters. Some examples feature double dies, off-center strikes, clip planches, odd die cracks. There are also rare transitional errors involving silver planches. A few 1965 quarters were mistakenly struck on leftover 90% silver blanks from 1964, creating extremely rare and valuable error coins. These silver error quarters can sell for thousands of dollars at auction because they combine the historic transition year with accidental silver composition. Experts usually identify these rare pieces by checking the coin's weight and edge appearance. Normal clad quarters show a visible copper-colored stripe on the edge, while silver error quarters have a solid silver-colored edge. The Washington quarter from 1966 is one of the most historically important coins of the modern American era. This quarter dollar was issued during a major transition period in United States coinage when the government moved away from using silver in circulating coins. The mid-1960s were difficult years for the United States Mint because the country was experiencing a nationwide coin shortage. Rising silver prices caused many people to hoard older silver coins, especially quarters and dimes minted before 1965. To solve this problem, Congress passed the Coinage Act of 1965, which permanently changed the metal composition of circulating quarters from 90% silver to copper-nickel-clad coinage. Because of this historic decision, the 1966 Washington quarter became one of the early clad quarters produced for everyday circulation across America. Although the coin looked similar to older silver quarters, its internal structure and composition were completely different, marking a new era in United States monetary history. The obverse side of the 1966 Washington quarter features the famous portrait of George Washington, the first president of the United States. This iconic design was created by sculptor John Flanagan and first appeared on Washington quarters in 1932. Washington is shown facing left with a calm and dignified expression that symbolizes leadership, honor, and patriotism. Above the portrait is the word liberty, while the national motto "In God We Trust" appears near the lower left side of coin. The date 1966 is displayed below the portrait. The design has remained one of the most recognizable images in American coinage for decades. Collectors admire the clean appearance and classic style of the Washington portrait because it reflects both artistic beauty and national pride. The details in Washington's hair, face, and profile can appear very sharp on well-preserved mint state examples. The reverse side displays a traditional heraldic eagle design used on Washington quarters for many years. The eagle stands proudly with its wings spread wide, symbolizing strength, courage, and freedom. Beneath the eagle is a bundle of arrows representing military readiness and defense, while olive branches below the arrows symbolize peace and diplomacy. Around the top edge are the words United States of America, and the Latin phrase E pluribus unum appears above the eagle. At the bottom of the reverse is a denomination quarter dollar. This reverse design is considered one of the most patriotic coin designs in United States history because it combines powerful national symbols into a balanced and elegant composition. Collectors often appreciate the bold appearance of the eagle and the detailed feather patterns visible on higher-grade specimens. One of the most unusual aspects of the 1966 quarter is the absence of a mint mark. Normally, United States coins carry small mint marks identifying where they were struck, such as D for Denver or S for San Francisco. However, during the coin shortage crisis of the 1960s, the United States Mint removed mint marks from coins dated 1965 through 1967. Government officials believed that collectors were hoarding coins based on mint marks, making the shortage even worse. By removing mint marks, the mint hoped to discourage excessive collecting and allow more coins to remain in circulation. As a result, all regular 1966 Washington quarters were produced without mint marks regardless of the mint facility where they were struck. This policy makes the 1966 quarter unique and historically significant among modern American coins. The 1966 Washington quarter was struck using a clad composition consisting of an inner core of pure copper sandwiched between outer layers of copper and nickel. This new composition replaced the old 90% silver alloy used before 1965. The clad design made the coin more affordable to produce while maintaining durability for everyday circulation. The coin weighs approximately 5.67 grams and has a reeded edge. If collectors examine the edge carefully, they can usually see a copper-colored stripe between the outer nickel layers, clearly identifying the coin as clad rather than silver. This visible copper edge became one of the easiest ways to distinguish post-1964 quarters from older silver issues. The mintage of the 1966 quarter was extremely large because the mint needed to produce enormous quantities of coins to meet public demand. More than 821 million quarters were struck during the year, making it one of the most common Washington quarters in circulation. Even though the coin is common in worn condition, collectors still search for high-grade examples with strong strikes and attractive surfaces. Because many 1966 quarters entered circulation immediately and remained in use for decades, sharply preserved examples with minimal wear can be surprisingly difficult to find. Coins graded MS-65 or higher by professional grading companies often sell for premiums due to their superior condition and eye appeal. Collectors also enjoy searching for errors and varieties among 1966 quarters. Some coins exhibit doubled dies, die cracks, clip planches, off-center strikes, or other unusual minting mistakes. One of the most valuable possibilities is a discovery of a 1966 quarter struck on a silver planchet leftover from earlier years. Transitional error coins from the mid-1960s are extremely rare because they combine the new clad design with accidental silver composition. Such coins can be worth thousands of dollars depending on condition and certification. Experts identify these silver transitional errors by examining the coin's weight and edge. Unlike normal clad quarters, silver pieces do not show a copper stripe along the edge. Another reason collectors admire the 1966 quarter is because it represents a major economic turning point in United States history. During the early 1960s, the value of silver rose dramatically due to industrial demand and investment interest. As silver prices increased, many people realized that older silver coins contained precious metal worth more than their face value. Citizens began saving silver coins instead of spending them, leading to severe shortages in daily commerce. Businesses, banks, and vending machine companies struggled to maintain enough coins for transactions. The introduction of clad coinage in 1965 and 1966 helped stabilize the coin supply and ensure that enough quarters remained. The Washington quarter minted in 1967 is one of the most fascinating and historically important coins of the modern American era. This quarter dollar was produced during a major period of change in United States coinage when the nation transitioned away from silver coins and adopted copper-nickel clad composition for everyday circulation. The mid-1960s were difficult years for the United States Mint because the country was facing severe coin shortage. Rising silver prices caused Americans to save and hoard older silver coins, especially quarters, dimes, and half dollars minted before 1965. To solve the crisis, the United States government introduced new clad coinage beginning in 1965. The 1967 Washington quarter became one of the last coins struck during the temporary emergency period when mint marks were removed from all circulating coinage. Because of this, the 1967 quarter represents an important chapter in American numismatic history and remains a favorite among collectors today. The obverse side of the 1967 Washington quarter features the famous left-facing portrait of George Washington, the first president of the United States. This classic design was created by sculptor John Flanagan and had originally been introduced in 1932 to honor the bicentennial anniversary of Washington's birth. Above Washington's portrait appears the word Liberty, while the national motto, "In God We Trust," is displayed to the lower left side of the portrait. The date 1967 is positioned beneath Washington. The portrait reflects dignity, leadership, and patriotism, qualities deeply connected with George Washington's role in American history. Collectors admire the elegant simplicity of the design and the detailed engraving found on well-preserved examples. The sharp lines of Washington's hair and profile become especially beautiful on coins in high mint state condition with original luster. The reverse side of the coin displays a traditional heraldic eagle design that had appeared on Washington quarters for decades. The eagle is shown with wings spread wide in a bold and powerful pose, symbolizing freedom, strength, and national pride. The eagle stands above a bundle of arrows, representing readiness and defense, while olive branches beneath the arrows symbolize peace. Around the upper edge are the words United States of America, and directly above the eagle appears a Latin phrase E pluribus unum, meaning out of many, one. At the bottom of the reverse side is a denomination quarter dollar. The reverse design is considered one of the most iconic and patriotic images in United States coinage because it combines national symbolism with artistic balance and detail. One of the most unusual features of the 1967 Washington quarter is a complete absence of a mint mark. Normally, American coins include mint marks identifying where they were produced, such as D for Denver or S for San Francisco. However, from 1965 through 1967, the United States Mint removed mint marks from circulating coins as part of an effort to reduce coin collecting and hoarding during the nationwide coin shortage. Officials believe collectors were removing coins from circulation based on mint marks and rare varieties. By eliminating mint marks temporarily, the mint hoped to encourage coins to remain in circulation rather than being saved by collectors. As a result, all regular 1967 quarters were struck without mint marks regardless of which mint facility produced them. This policy makes the 1967 quarter historically unique and instantly recognizable among Washington quarters. The 1967 quarter was produced using a clad composition made from outer layers of copper and nickel bonded to an inner copper core. This new composition replaced the old 90% silver alloy used before 1965. The coin weighs approximately 5.67 grams and measures 24.3 millimeters in diameter. One easy way to identify the clad composition is by examining the coin's edge. Unlike silver quarters, which appear solid silver in color, clad quarters display a visible copper-colored stripe along the edge where the copper core can be seen. This change in composition allowed the mint to produce coins more economically while maintaining durability for heavy circulation. The mintage of the 1967 Washington quarter was enormous because the mint needed to supply enough coin for commerce throughout the country. More than 1.5 billion quarters were produced during the year, making it one of the most common Washington quarters ever issued. Even though the coin is extremely common in circulated condition, collectors still seek high-quality examples with sharp strikes, clean surfaces, and strong luster. Finding a 1967 quarter in pristine mint state condition can be surprisingly difficult because many coins entered circulation immediately and remained heavily used for decades. Coins graded MS-65 or higher by professional grading services often command higher premiums due to their superior preservation and eye appeal. Collectors also search for rare mint errors and varieties among 1967 quarters. Some examples exhibit double dies, die cracks, clip planches, broad strikes, or offset errors. One of the most famous and valuable possibilities is a 1967 quarter accidentally struck on a leftover silver planchette from 1964 or earlier. These transitional error coins are extremely rare and highly valuable because they combine the new 1967 design with old silver metal composition. Specialists identify these rare silver errors by examining the coin's weight and edge appearance. A genuine silver transitional error lacks the copper-colored edge stripe visible on normal clad quarters. Such coins can sell for thousands of dollars at major auctions depending on condition and certification. The historical background surrounding the 1967 quarter adds greatly to its importance. During the early and mid-1960s, silver prices rose rapidly due to industrial demand and investor activity. As the metal value of silver coins approached or exceeded face value, Americans began saving silver quarters and dimes instead of spending them. This created serious shortages that affected businesses, banks, and vending machine companies across the country. The Coinage Act of 1965 allowed the government to remove silver from circulating dimes and quarters while reducing silver content in half dollars. The introduction of clad coinage helped stabilize the national coin supply and became. The Washington quarter issued in 1968 is one of the most important modern coins in American numismatic history because it represents a continuation of the new clad coinage era introduced after the removal of silver from circulating quarters. The late 1960s were a time of major economic and monetary transition in the United States. Rising silver prices during the early part of the decade had created a serious coin shortage, forcing the United States Mint to redesign the metal composition of several denominations. By 1968, the new copper-nickel clad quarter had become fully established in American commerce. Although the coin retained the classic appearance of earlier Washington quarters, its internal composition had changed forever. The 1968 quarter, therefore, symbolizes the beginning of the modern era of United States circulating coinage and remains an essential coin for collectors who study the evolution of American money. The obverse side of the 1968 Washington quarter features a familiar portrait of George Washington facing left. This portrait was designed by sculptor John Flanagan and first appeared on the quarter in 1932 to honor the 200th anniversary of Washington's birth. Above the portrait appears the word liberty, while the national motto "In God We Trust" is located to the left of Washington's neck. The date 1968 is displayed below the portrait. Washington's image reflects dignity, leadership, and patriotism, qualities that have made this design one of the most enduring in American coinage history. The details in the hair, facial features, and lettering are especially attractive on high-grade mint state examples with strong strikes and original mint luster. Collectors admire the timeless simplicity of the design, which remained largely unchanged for decades. The reverse side of the coin displays the classic heraldic eagle design that had appeared on Washington quarters since 1932. The eagle stands proudly with wings fully spread, symbolizing freedom, strength, and national power. Beneath the eagle is a bundle of arrows representing military readiness, while olive branches below symbolize peace and diplomacy. Around the top edge of the coin are the words United States of America, and directly above the eagle appears the Latin phrase E pluribus unum, meaning out of many, one. At the bottom is a denomination quarter dollar. This reverse design is considered one of the most patriotic and recognizable images ever used on American coinage. Many collectors appreciate the strong artistic balance and detailed featherwork visible on well-preserved examples. One of the most significant changes involving the 1968 quarter was a return of mint marks. From 1965 through 1967, the United States Mint had removed mint marks from circulating coins in an attempt to discourage coin hoarding during the nationwide coin shortage. However, by 1968, mint marks returned to American coins. Quarters struck at the Denver Mint carried a D mint mark, while proof coin produced in San Francisco carried an S mint mark. Philadelphia quarters continued without a mint mark. The return of mint marks was welcomed by collectors because mint identification had always been an important part of American coin collecting. As a result, the 1968 quarter marked the end of a unique 3-year period in United States coinage history when mint marks were absent. The 1968 quarter was struck using a clad composition consisting of outer layers of copper and nickel bonded to a pure copper core. This composition replaced the traditional 90% silver alloy used before 1965. The coin weighs approximately 5.67 grams and measures 24.3 millimeters in diameter. A reeded edge surrounds the coin. One easy way to distinguish the clad quarter from older silver quarters is by examining the edge. Clad quarters display a visible copper-colored stripe between the outer nickel layers, while silver quarters have a solid silver-colored edge. This new composition allowed the mint to reduce production costs while ensuring the coins remained durable enough for heavy circulation. The 1968 quarter was struck in very large numbers to meet the needs of commerce throughout the United States. Hundreds of millions of coins were produced at the Philadelphia and Denver mints. Because these quarters circulated heavily for decades, high-grade uncirculated examples are more desirable than many people realize. Collectors seek coins with strong strikes, bright luster, and minimal contact marks. Coins graded in mint state condition by professional grading services such as PCGS and NGC often command premiums, especially those with exceptional eye appeal or attractive toning. Proof versions of the 1968 quarter were also produced at the San Francisco Mint. These proof coins carried the S mint mark and were struck using specially prepared dies and polished planchets to create sharp details and mirror-like surfaces. Proof sets from 1968 became very popular among collectors because they represented the first proof coinage produced in San Francisco after proof production had moved from Philadelphia several years earlier. Many proof quarters display beautiful cameo contrast between frosted designs and reflective backgrounds, making them especially attractive to numismatists. Collectors frequently search for errors and varieties among 1968 quarters. Some coins feature double dies, die cracks, off-center strikes, clip planchets, or broad strike errors. Transitional errors involving silver planchets are also known, although they are extremely rare. A small number of 1,968 quarters were accidentally struck on leftover silver blanks from earlier years. These rare transitional silver quarters are highly valuable because they combine the modern 1968 date with the older silver composition. Experts usually identify these pieces by checking the coin's weight and examining the edge for the absence of the copper stripe. Genuine silver transitional errors can sell for thousands of dollars at auction, depending on condition and certification. The historical importance of the 1968 quarter extends beyond coin collecting. The coin reflects a period when the United States economy was adapting to changing precious metal markets and growing industrial demand for silver. By the late 1960s, Americans had largely accepted clad coinage in everyday commerce, even though many people still preferred older silver coins. The successful,